Missile rain underway in Israel amid ceasefire announcement. 3 killed. Israel and Iran have agreed to a complete and allowed ceasefire. After the announcement of US President Donald Trump, Iran started firing missiles like rain on Israel this morning. At least 1 building in Israel has been destroyed by missiles till the latest news. 3 people were killed. 6 missiles were fired at Israel in 2 phases from Iran on Tuesday, June 24th morning, the IDF said. The first attack had 2 missiles. The second had 4. In the second round, a missile hit an apartment block in Beirut. According to doctors, 3 people were killed in the fire of Iran's ballistic missiles in Bush. Several more were injured and feared. The siren erupted again as a result of the missile attack on central Israel and some parts of the south. US President Donald Trump has said that Iran and Israel have agreed to abide by a complete ceasefire for 12 hours within the next 6 hours. Both sides will behave peacefully during this time. He said the ceasefire could end the conflict. He wished peace for Israel, Iran, the Middle East, and the world, but Iran said it did not receive such an offer. Iran has carried out missile strikes at a US airbase in Qatar, local time Monday, June 23rd. The attack took place at a base in Doha, the country's capital. An eyewitness also told Reuters that the sound of a terrible explosion was heard in the country. The US media Axios news agency reported this about an Israeli official. According to the news, Iran has fired 6 missiles at the US military base in Qatar. In addition, the British media BBC's Arabic News also published the news of the attack on the US airbase in Qatar about the Axios news agency. On the other hand, Iran's semi-official news agency Tasnim news agency reported that Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps IRGC has officially confirmed the attack on Al Udeid US airbase in Doha. The force said that a retaliatory missile attack was carried out targeting the American Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. Shortly before that, a Western diplomat said the threat had been found on the part of Iran on the part of Al Udeid plane crash in the Gulf Arab state of Qatar, and threats had been found since noon. The Qatari government has temporarily shut down the airspace to ensure the safety of residents after the threat news. Earlier, the US Embassy suggested that US citizens stay in Qatar be alerted to excessive caution. Note that Al Udeid is located southwest of the town of Doha, with an area of 24 hectares. It is used as a forward headquarters of the Central Command of the United States. The base was established in 1999 through a defense cooperation agreement. About 10,000 US troops are stationed in Al Udeid, known as the largest US base in the Middle East. Iran launched a missile attack on the US military base in Iraq. The attack took place on Monday, June 23rd. Evening local time. At the same time, the US military base in Qatar was also reportedly attacked. According to an Israeli official, the US media Axios News reported that the US base in Doha, the capital of Qatar, was attacked. According to the news, Iran has fired at least 6 missiles at this base. In addition, the British media also released news of the attack on the US military base, citing the Axios news agency. Tasnim news agency, a semi-government message agency affiliated with Iran's Revolutionary Guard forces, has confirmed Iran's missile attack on US bases in Qatar and Iraq. The media reported that Bisharat Fateh and Ya Abba Abdullah had carried out these attacks. The news agency said the attack had fired multiple warheads or missiles capable of carrying multiple warheads or missiles. Whatever he is, he will not tolerate an attack on Iran. Erdogan, whatever he is, he will not tolerate an attack on Iran. Erdogan. Facebook sharing button, Messenger sharing button, WhatsApp sharing button, Tata sharing button, LinkedIn sharing button, copy sharing button, print sharing button, nan plus. Whatever he is, he will not tolerate an attack on Iran. Erdogan 10. Whatever he is, he will not tolerate an attack on Iran. Erdogan. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan warned that he would not tolerate the attack on Iran. News of the Anadolu Agency. On Monday, June 23rd. A report by Anadolu states that Turkey continues to try Jor-El to prevent major catastrophes from the attacks that are being carried out in Iran on behalf of Israel and its allies. Erdogan said Ankara has never supported any Hamas against Iran's sovereignty and regional security. No matter what the attack comes from, we will clearly respond to us. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin has commented that Iran's peril and US Hamla aggression in Yuzhkani completely without use. Russia also said it was ready to help the Iranian people. President Putin made these comments in a speech broadcast live on Russian state television. He said, "There is no basis or logic for the aggression against Iran without any reason." Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghi is currently in the Kremlin to discuss with the Russian president. He arrived in Russia on Sunday. He had a meeting with Putin on Monday, June 23rd. Addressing Araghi in the meeting, Putin said, "I am very happy with your presence in Moscow today. Your presence will allow you to discuss these difficult issues and think together to find ways to get out of today's situation," pointing out that Iran has very close and friendly relations with Russia. Iran's foreign minister said that attacks by Israel and the United States are a violation of international norms and norms. Thanks to Putin for condemning the US attack on Iran, Araghi said Russia took a position in favor of the right history. In the incident, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iran's supreme religious leader, and President Masoud Pezeshkian also greeted Putin. Earlier this year, the president of two countries in Iran and Russia signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement between themselves. Note that at least 500 people have died in Iran so far since June 13th in a drawn-out Israeli attack. The information was reported on Monday in the country's state television news, citing Iran's Ministry of Health. At least 500 people have lost their lives in Iran since the Israeli attack began, and more than 3,000 people have been injured. However, the human rights organization Human Rights Activists in Iran claims that the actual number of deaths is almost double the number declared by the government. Meanwhile, Hussein Karmanpour, head of the Public Relations Department at the Iranian Ministry of Health, said there were at least 13 children killed in Israeli attacks. The youngest child among them was only 2 months old. He added that 44 of the dead were women, 2 of whom were pregnant. According to Karmanpour, most of the casualties in the Israeli military attack were civilians. Confusion over Iran-Israel ceasefire. Trump under criticism. Although US President Donald Trump has announced there is confusion about the ceasefire between Iran and Israel, questions have been raised about the transparency of Trump's speech. Trump is also being criticized in the United States itself. Former US diplomatic official Ned Price also criticized him. He said that this agreement announced by Trump is not a sure or permanent solution. Al Jazeera News. Ned Price writes in multiple posts on social media, a ceasefire could be called successful if it could permanently prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. The important nuclear deal that Trump canceled in 2018 was the real solution. He said the agreement reached between Iran and the world powers during the Obama administration in 2015 was an effective way to control Iran. Trump has canceled it and further complicated the situation. Ned Price said now that the Trump administration should take advantage of this opportunity and move forward on the path to a permanent diplomatic agreement. He warned that if the United States is directly involved in any war, Iran could quickly walk the path of building nuclear weapons. Then the situation will be even more terrible. Iran and Israel have agreed to a ceasefire with US President Donald Trump. Iran, however, said they have not yet received any resolution of the ceasefire and they do not need any such proposal. Israel is also silent on this. US President Donald Trump said on Tuesday, June 24th, that Iran and Israel have agreed to abide by a full ceasefire for 12 hours in the next hours. At this point, the party will behave peacefully. He said the ceasefire could end the conflict. He wished peace for Israel, Iran, the Middle East and the world. Meanwhile, Iran started firing missiles like rain in Israel on Tuesday morning. At least one building in Israel has been destroyed by missiles till the latest news. 3 people were killed. Iran is launching another missile attack on Israel. Iran has started missile attacks on Israel again. Missiles were fired from Iran towards Israeli territory on Tuesday, June 24th morning. After the missile was detected, the Israeli army is trying to counter it. Al Jazeera News. New attacks began in the morning after US President Donald Trump's claim that Iran and Israel had agreed to a ceasefire. Although Iran said they have not yet received any resolution of the ceasefire and they do not need any such proposal. In the morning, Israel's army said it called on the public to take refuge. Their aviation defense system is working to counter threat. Meanwhile, the siren of the airstrikes in Israel is ringing. People are running around and heading towards the shelter. Panic has spread in different cities in the country. The Israeli military said warnings were issued in several parts of the country after missiles were fired from Iran, and they were working to repel the projectiles. The Times of Israel reports that sirens are sounding in northern Israel as well as in the south of the country. The situation is very scary. Meanwhile, the Imam Ali base in Iraq was attacked. The attack happened even after US President Donald Trump announced a ceasefire. On Tuesday, June 24th, the morning, the Al Sumaria TV network is reporting attacks on radar systems at Imam Ali base in Iraq. The Baghdad-based television channel also released a picture of the incident. However, he did not say who carried out the attack.